Coming to you live from the One More and I'm Out of Here / Illegal Shift Studios. We have a very, very, very special edition.
It's a lot of varies
of One More. Well, we are joined none other by
none
Trumpomania Pappas.
Yeah.
Who is the most attention-seeking motherfucker I've ever met. But we're also joined by one of our really good friends, Josh Girth, who may or may not be a government official. And we're going to get his takes on some of the national issues.
Deep questions.
Also some of the local issues.
Yeah, that's right, Mr.
And
Girth.
state issues.
Mr. Girth, you've been dodging me, Mr. Girth.
The only local issue is the return of the Mr. Spartan totem pole. That's really the only issue we've been dealing with.
Only issue. To give a little bit of backstory for some of our listeners that haven't seen Mr. Girth, Pappas and Girth were both sitting trustees where we live and have loved to hate each other for many, many years.
That's not true.
I think it's true.
That's not true. We didn't like to hate each other.
Yeah.
No, you loved.
We just hated. We just did. We had a very it was a brotherly relationship. I was the mentor.
Is that what you would call it?
Yes. I was the mentor. He was the mentee. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to pop it. Look what I got.
That's adorable.
And those big fucking sausage fingers. That's actually a 12-ounce can, ladies and gentlemen.
Shoes. That's right.
Those fucking meat hooks that he's got. Andrew, since we last recorded
on Tuesday,
how's your week been?
Potty training is a remarkably labor-intensive project,
and I'm surprised that you graduated. I appreciate you for that.
I'm becoming quite the expert on puppy diapers and feminine napkins. So I think I'm going to use the ones with the wings because I think they're a little more better for a puppy.
I don't think I've heard the name.
Bogey.
Bogey.
Well, we were Bear, but that was just not working with the dog because the breeder had him a name. I think she had Bowie. So we went with Bogey, and that was closer to his name, and he's really responding to it.
That's close.
We're going to call him Josh, but
for respect to the game of golf. Is that
yeah, I'm a big golfer that I am.
You are. I've seen you golf. You ever seen him golf?
No, I haven't.
It's something. No,
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I don't have the temperament for golf. Not that you do. You're good if you would just apply yourself.
Yeah.
But whatever. Anyhow, we were going to call him Josh, but we figured that name was taken. So, yeah, he's a good dog. I mean, I got to be honest with you. He's a pretty good dog, but potty training takes a lot of attention.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Right now, he's probably doing his business all over the house, but we'll see when I get home.
Very, very good picking dog. Very cute.
Well,
awesome.
It's genetic and it runs in the family.
No, it definitely does not, sir. But Jill loves the dog.
I was going to bring him, actually. I was really going to bring him, but I didn't want to be presumptuous. Maybe I'll bring him for the next show.
Yeah, bring him over. We can have
the dog in the middle.
We can have Bogey and Brody both sitting there and we'll be like Michael Vick because it'll end up being
this brings back memories for me. I don't know about Josh, but it brings back memories. There was a time when we had a program here in the township. Josh knows where I'm going.
Your dog was a Sheltie, right?
It's a Sheltie, and we used to do a program called Trustee Talk.
That's right.
That's right. That's how we got our big start. And Dick Murgatroyd, is Dick still around?
Oh yeah,
good, because he's a good man, and we enjoyed Trustee Talk. But then because we're both very fiscally responsible, we were doing cost savings, and Trustee Talk had to go bye. But maybe you should bring back Trustee Talk.
I think we should.
Counting I think it made you a better speaker.
Well, we could bring it back.
There's one
for everyone playing along at home.
Everybody's got a drink.
Time to drink. Just said, And what was my go-to? That's right.
Lots of ums.
Lots of ums. And the brain would try to catch up with the mouth, but
still does.
Yeah, those were good shows. And if I think they're still on YouTube, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
But they never go away unless somebody deletes them.
No, I think they're still on YouTube. So we had a lot of good channels on there, and D Stone was bringing the ratings down. So I think we
that's why we killed it.
You guys are such
she was terrible.
She was terrible.
Sorry, D.
I'm
Love
sorry,
you.
D.
Oh, I don't think she's watching. I don't think she's watching.
I told her to.
Anyhow, so
Mr. Girth brought up the fact that the only thing happening locally is the fact that the Spartan totem pole got returned. So people that don't know, there's Girth organized, what was it, the 30?
My 30th reunion.
Yeah, 30th
class
school reunion.
I know I don't look that old, but yes.
You do. Yes, you do. Don't kid yourself.
So huge party, and the high school mascot totem pole that he had borrowed from a friend got stolen. And it was all about the Facebooks, all of the pages, if anybody knows the whereabouts. And Mr. Girth, actually, I should have pulled that other picture up. Mr. Girth went to the news, or did they come to you?
No, they came to me. All I did was post it on Faceplant, and every single news outlet called and wanted to do a story on it. So that's the hard-hitting stuff happening in Anderson Township.
So this thing thing essentially gets stolen, acquired, borrowed, whatever, and it ends up having to hit the news. Then all of a sudden, miraculously, once it's all over the news, Josh is interviewed. I'm at the firehouse. I see his interview, so I take a picture of the TV, and I was like, "Oh, our own local celebrity," and I put that in our Sons of American Legion group me. But he got it back. I mean, all that attention, I think, worked. Very next morning, there it is, sitting on the
that's home plate. It's the softball field at Turpin High School when everyone was rolling in yesterday morning. So
how funny is it, though? I mean, it's not funny because obviously I'm sure some people were sweating whether it was legitimately going to come back or not. But 30-year reunion and still playing pranks between Turpin and Anderson, most likely.
I think so.
That's my guess. I'm not speaking for you. That's my guess. And I didn't grow up over here, so I can say it.
No. I saw that some people took to social media on their derogatory Twitter feeds, and they were kind of making fun of the situation. I didn't think it was that funny of a situation. Wait a minute.
Are you telling me that somebody was making fun of me or saying something bad about me on social media?
And it wasn't me. And they were doing it.
Be true.
And the thing I find funny is this same person-ish, a group of people, because
I may or may not have those, but
we know who they are, and they think they're being funny because they have like six trolls that log on and do this.
Some of it's funny.
Some of it is actually funny, but most of it is not. No, I would not know. I have a standing rule.
Yeah.
You do not give. I never mention their name. I never mention their handle.
That's why I was given the option.
No,
but I had it ready to go.
We do not give this troll group of people who should probably spend more time on dating sites than they do just being derogatory to good people here in the township. And, Josh had a bad situation, and he went to social media, and the news picked it up. They always like to do good stories on Anderson Township.
Well, and that's shitty, though. Yeah, like,
it is a little shitty.
You borrowed a token from a friend.
Turned around for 1 second, right? It's not like you were...
Maybe not one.
Well, but you would still like to think... You'd still like to think that you're in a position to be able to leave that thing. And nobody fuck with it.
Right. Well, yeah, it was at the Hawk of Ages, which, as we all know, is a exclusive, private, and high esteem.
Yeah, it's high class.
So
event. It costs a lot of money to get in there. Not any schmuck can walk in that place.
Yeah. No, it was actually great. That was a fun night.
Yeah,
we had a good time.
Always a good event, and it's unfortunate that something crappy like that.
It was a little tainted. But
have fun with that Coke. You want me to get you one of Dan's natural lights?
You made me laugh. And
I thought you'd be drinking a seltzer.
No, it's a no. I'm on a diet. See, it's teeny tiny.
It's not working.
You're an idiot.
You're a jerk.
Trumpomania. I love that shirt.
So let's hit some national stuff real quick and get a local politician's take on it.
Yeah. Find your arms.
But Andrew sent me, and we've been it's been covered all week about the Aurora takeover by the Venezuelans.
Yeah. We covered it on our show.
So, yeah. So Andrew sends me this other link, and I go to pull it up, and I find it. I got to figure out which one it is.
We go through this every show.
I know. Well, you don't know what I'm looking at, so shut up.
You don't know what you're doing, but that's okay.
This is what I get.
Yeah.
I click the link. It's all of a sudden false information in the fact that all of these Venezuelans have not taken over and pushed out all of these people out of their apartment complex and are terrorizing everybody.
Do you remember the video we saw from the woman, the councilwoman that was moving the I guess fake people out of the fake apartment. Remember that one?
Right. Yeah. A councilwoman doing work. Amazing.
Right. So that was probably fake, right? Yeah, it's just ridiculous how one
News story upon news
false
story upon
information,
news story,
right?
and
So
it's false.
false
And
information because they don't want and remember that also, I believe, I could be wrong, but weren't wasn't a motorcycle gang going there to enforce law and order or peace or restore the peace or
so I was on last call
the
yesterday
biker.
on Failure to Stop's podcast, and yeah, we talked about it, and there's no way to substantiate it yet. I think it would be awesome if the Hells Angels rolled in there.
Oh, so that story we don't know is true, right?
It's not substantiated, so
Okay.
you can't say. I mean, there's a whole bunch of videos out there,
I've
but
seen
it's
videos.
a bunch of bikes. You know, I could make that video easily. Oh, headed to Aurora. Yeah, whatever. I think it would be awesome if they did, but
I find it funny how we live in a time where a group of people or maybe powers that be can decide that certain stories, like I remember 4 years ago, there was a wild story going around the internet that some crackhead left his laptop at the computer store and didn't pick it back up.
weird.
And everyone said, gee, that's just crazy. That's crazy talk. That would never happen. He couldn't be that big of a crackhead. And you know what? Guess what happened? That was true.
It was true. It's
I mean,
weird.
that's just a weird story.
It's just like that baggie of Coke.
Yeah, the bag of Coke, they never found out who dropped it in the White House in the residence portion of the wing. But hey, I don't want to dwell.
So, Josh, let me ask you a question. All right. So, hypothetically
Of course.
speaking, let's just say that this type of situation, because we're not in Cincinnati proper, but Cincinnati is a sanctuary city,
Yeah.
correct?
Is it?
Still? Is it still?
I don't know.
I'm
It
asking.
It is.
So, but the township of Anderson that we
Yeah.
live in, if we had an apartment complex get overrun by Venezuelan illegals, how does a government try to tackle that?
I have no idea. I mean,
Because it's never happened.
and
here.
how does one become a sanctuary city? Like, do you just call yourself a sanctuary
Yeah, you make a
city?
big
So
desert.
let's
Well,
start there.
What that does is it builds what the designation does is it prevents the police department when they pull somebody over or they arrest somebody and he's illegal. You can't then call immigration, naturalization, or ICE because they forbid you from doing it. So you cannot contact the federal authorities to begin to come pick these people up. You just
Should I show this one video in connection that you sent me
sure.
just to put it in context? Because I didn't know. I don't know what that means. Exactly. I remember was it Cranley?
It was Cranley.
Yeah, it was Cranley that did it.
That doesn't seem like something he would do.
No.
He's pretty, pro business, pro. I mean, I don't.
Well,
yeah.
he's
Here you
We'll
go.
grab his information and see what we can do, but this, like I said.
Can you please collect the information? He said that he's already illegal. He already said that he went to.
Okay, hold on, let's back up a little bit. First off, we're a sanctuary city. Even if he is legal here, we cannot call ICE and
Okay,
report him.
but you still have to report that, right?
No, we don't, because it's a sanctuary city. We do not report illegal, undocumented.
So you're gonna let a person who went to prison, he committed a crime in America, who's illegal right now, you're gonna let him go free right now to this elevator?
That's exactly what I'm saying, because we're a sanctuary city. I've arrested a double homicide suspect in this city before and let him walk out the door because we're a sanctuary city. We're not gonna call ICE to come pick him up and deport him.
He came to pick up $320,000 from your, him, or mine, grandmother and grandfather, and he's walking away freely right now, right?
So that's how it works. And I know that I don't think the residents of Anderson would tolerate that. And I know that you as a trustee would insist that, let's say that situation took over, you'd marshal the resources of our, whatever the contract would be with Hamilton County, and you'd insist upon them enforcing, restoring the peace. I know you would do that in 2 seconds.
Well, and it's so like, is it trespassing? I mean, I realize-
they literally were carrying weapons,
Yeah.
and they were breaking into apartments from what the video showed, and had claimed they had, pretty much taken over. And if you watch the video of the people that live there, they said they complained to management often and were unresponsive.
And the residents had to pay those thugs rent.
Right. So they were charging like, hush money or protection money to stay there. And
Oh, look, our buddy Cincy 513 is in the chats.
oh, hey, buddy.
Perfect.
Must have gotten his testosterone injection. So I know that if that happened, like let's just say that there was, and there's not, but let's just say that situation did occur, that something spilled over from maybe Cincinnati into Anderson. I know that our trustees, Josh included, would call on the because we have a contract with Hamilton County Sheriff,
Right.
and that's a topic you might want to bring up. That I don't know what you want to talk about today, but I know that coming up on the ballot, if I'm not mistaken, there is going to be a public safety levy. Is that correct?
There is. Yep. I mean, I think law and order is the foundation of what government is supposed to provide. I mean, if you're paying for anything, that is certainly something that is important. So, yeah, we have a great relationship with Hamilton County. We obviously have our own fire department. All of those working together to make our community safe then generates every other thing that happens in this community. If you do not have law and order, then you have nothing. I mean,
You've got chaos.
you're at, I mean, yeah. So I think in any situation like that, you have to rely on the police, fire, anybody that's in that protection type service to do what they're supposed to do.
And give them the support they need, and not
Yeah.
protest against them and say that we need to defund them in some manner.
Well, absolutely.
Well, you had the mayor of Aurora downplaying a lot of this, of what was happening, but the governor obviously saw it and said, "Hey, I'm willing to send whatever I need to send. I just need to know. I need a finger on the pulse of actually."
So what was the
what's going
outcome
on.
of this? I didn't-
Nothing yet. It's
Nothing
still
yet.
ongoing.
Still kind of percolating. And like we said, we heard that the motorcycle gang was supposed to rally there and take matters into their own hands. I heard there was another similar type thing happened in Denver. I know Aurora is like a suburb, but there's something else happened in Denver proper.
So it's slowly, because Aurora is right next to Denver, and I was talking when I was on last call yesterday. Josh Deadleg, who I do failure to stop stuff with.
Oh, is that a joke? 513 tried to make a joke. He doesn't understand. I'm retired, but that's cool.
So
It's called retired.
I put it up there because I
Sorry.
knew you'd see it at some
Do
point.
these two just go back and forth?
Oh,
No, I mean,
absolutely.
this guy's just, a nobody that's never done anything, but that's okay.
But
I don't want to be derogatory.
Is Cincy 513 who I think it is?
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
Would I like him?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you would.
I'd like to meet him.
You know how many people that
We're
you
gonna
thought
have.
you
We're,
didn't
we're
like that I've
actually gonna
introduced
have
you
him.
to?
We're gonna have him sitting right in between us. This
I'd
is
love-
the go. This is the
I would-
trial
I
run
would-
to have 3 people in this room
That would be great.
love
because
to
this
see
room
it.
is small.
Is it soundproof?
We can make it
I
soundproof.
wonder how strong those walls are. Let's see. Is that real brick behind us?
But Aurora and Denver are right there next to each other, and Josh's wife works very close to Denver and they're starting to see it. Everything is just starting to matriculate over, heading east, and he's petrified. I mean, just because he was like, I understand I live in a liberal state and they're allowing these things to happen, but when you have the mayor not necessarily backing what's actually happening and it's hitting national news and you're trying to deny it, and then the governor says, "Oh, well, I mean, I could send you whatever you need. I just need to know actually what's happening."
Well,
There's a lot of misinformation or information not being passed up, is the way it seems, the way it appears. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, yeah, it's still ever changing.
which is why Josh, to his credit, has strived to maintain good and cordial relations as a trustee with the city of Cincinnati, and had good communication with them because, for better or for worse, Mount Washington is our neighbors, and we don't want to see that happen here. And to his credit, Josh does a very good job of being professional. And
I'm tearing up.
I know, get tissue. But you do. I mean, I got to be honest with you. There's times you say things and I'm like, God, I just want to kill him. But there's a purpose to it, and you do a great job. And I think people should understand.
See, look, we come prepared here.
Could you cue the
It's a lot of
sax
nap-
music?
It's a lot of
Sexy
Kleenex.
sax man. But anyway, no, that's seriously. So,
Why do you have a box of Kleenex in here?
Because my allergies are fucking terrible. So whenever I'm
I
podcasting,
don't want to know.
Okay.
Do you have a black
I'm
light?
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Jesus Christ, I feel like
Keep talking about
I
it.
feel like I'm sitting right next to Pappas right now. Holy shit, I held you more esteemed.
No, I mean, I'm serious. In Mount
I was
Washington,
around him for 8 years. I
for
mean,
8 years, we sat
it does
pretty much
rub
like
off.
this. What do we? Should we tell people what really happens at trustee meetings?
I'm trying to figure out why you guys have your shoes off.
The
It's weird.
Why does he have his pants off?
But it's true, and I think your point to what's happening in Aurora versus and Denver is concerning because we do have a sanctuary city right next door, and not that Cincinnati is a magnet, but like I mentioned the last show, we have some very liberal charities here that are giving cash, cell phones, and helping with this illegal migration into this country. And I'm speaking specifically of Catholic Charities because I've seen the videos from a building they own of just nonstop what appear to be migrants coming in and going and picking up whether it's gift cards or cash cards and cell phones. I mean, they are here, and I would hate to see that happen in Anderson Township, or at least next to Anderson Township, where it could happen because of the designation declared by the city government.
It's just it's scary. I mean, you have taxpayers who, I mean, our community is fantastic. Love where I live, never want to move away from here. But shit like that starts to happen, it makes you question, all right, the safety of, if Jill wants to go out with her daughter by herself, all of those things come into play. Now, luckily, we're not having to deal with that currently. But it's a matter of time. And especially with the way the climate is now, and come November, if results don't turn out the way that we feel that they should, and these are just our opinions, but it's going to get fucking worse, and it's going to be everywhere, not just Chicago, not just Aurora, not just New York.
Yeah,
it's going to be bedlam, and for people that work hard and want to raise kids and get good education, it's scary. It's very scary. I mean, Jill's daughter's 12, just started 7th grade. It scares the shit out of me, the world that she may be living in here in 10 years.
Don't you think it's interesting, though, that we've gotten to this point where we have this major problem when both political sides will tell you all day long that they're for law and order. But I mean, how do we end up in a spot like this, or situations like the one in Colorado, if that is not prevalent, if law and order is not there and things like this are indeed happening? What's the solution? I mean, you can't solve it if no one is willing to solve it. And you're saying that they're not willing to solve it.
Well,
the city of Cincinnati may be a sanctuary city, but I don't think they're soft on crime. Now, I mean, you can make arguments about judges giving certain sentences or not giving certain sentences that they should.
I think I know who you're
so
referring to.
maybe that's part of the
that's definitely
discussion.
Part of the discussion. The other thing is you have a political party who has nationally had a policy where they're bringing in truckloads. I mean, some estimates are there's 20 million illegal migrants that have come into this country in the last 3.5 years. So it's not necessarily that they,
Did you say You did.
Did I say
You did.
Did I? I don't think I did. Did I?
One for Josh, one for Pat.
Okay, so I think you just totally ruined my train of thought, which was on purpose. But you have a political party that, for better or for worse, listen, if these folks stay here for more than 9 months, just to explain the gestation period to you, then what will happen is they'll probably have a child. That child will be an American citizen, and then they'll be able to apply for permanent residency because their child's the anchor baby. We have a big problem in this country, and those people, one political party has been courting them, let them in the country, and that is just a whole giant voter pool. The other thing is that for the case of the census, you may or may not be aware that the census doesn't designate someone. They count everybody. So as far as representation in Congress, some states, it's been estimated that California has almost 40% higher representation in Congress because of the illegals that are being counted as part of their census. So the portion of our representation government is skewed, and I don't think that should be the case either. It's not immigrant. It's anti-illegal immigrant. We need We
Right.
need to know who's here. If you looked at the people, the border, the migrants coming across the border, what jumped out at you? Military age, young men. There you go. I mean, it's hard to argue with that story right there. I'm here in Cincinnati, Ohio. We're not experiencing it, but I watch the news, and here from New York, is 75% of the arrests are being caused by the fact that New York is also a sanctuary city, and they flock there for jobs and for handouts. And maybe Cincinnati's not doing a good enough job, or as good a job as the other cities giving away the freebies. Maybe that's why you're not seeing the flood of migrants here. But I know that there are certain NGOs here that are giving out those freebies, and it's upsetting. And might I remind everybody out there that Ohio, sadly, the designation you don't want to have, is one of the top states for child trafficking.
Correct.
So that's that in of itself. There's a movie that's out called City of Dreams that I hope everybody has a chance to see, that deals with that subject. It'll break your heart. But this is the reality of where we find ourselves today. And one political party is playing politics with it and changed. Remember, this wasn't a problem. The funny thing about all this was not a problem 3.5 years ago. This suddenly became a problem when Mr. Biden got in office and reversed every one of Donald Trump's executive orders. And then overnight, we had caravans and caravans of people coming into this country.
So
there you go.
Cincy, your buddy Cincy said, are these like the truckloads of Antifa people that were coming to a neighborhood near you during Floyd riots? Fear-mongering bullshit.
Well, Mr. 513 cannot argue with the story from Aurora, and he cannot argue with the fact of the story from New York that 75% of the crime committed is by migrants. So Mr. 513 simply has his head somewhere dark and smelly.
So I do want to. I was trying the video you sent me the other day.
Wasn't it?
That was
For you,
actually
yes.
that was actually very nice.
With all due respect.
With all due respect.
With all due respect.
My code word. So Josh,
Well, so what does everyone knows we have an illegal immigration problem in this country.
right. But okay.
So Biden or Harris, one of them, whichever,
Barris?
gets
Okay,
elected.
Harris.
The consensus here is that it's going to continue. Trump gets elected. What does he do to fix the situation?
Well, he's already
Has
said,
he said?
Yeah, he's already said that there, his solution would be a mass deportation effort. And I got to be frank, as a Trump supporter, I mean, that is a huge undertaking. And I guess what that means is that you enable and authorize that ICE have communication with all local law enforcement. And as soon as someone is somehow apprehended or arrested for any infraction and shown to be here illegally, you ship them off and deport them immediately, or at least give them an immediate hearing and then deport them after that if they're found to be here without cause, without some special case of being having to have a exemption to our immigration laws, that they're in fear of their life or whatever. It's not been the case of the people I've seen. So look, we didn't cause this problem. Donald Trump didn't cause this problem. The Republicans didn't cause this problem. But by God, it is a problem and it needs to be solved. 4 more years. I shudder to think what this country will look like with 4 more years of unlimited open border immigration. It's going to be scary.
Do you think instead of hiring thousands of more IRS employees, they could hire more Border Patrol employees?
Well, but
But nobody. But here's the thing: nobody wants to fucking work the border. I have Jill's ex-husband
Because of this, because how dangerous.
is Border Patrol.
Is he?
Different realm. He's more data.
Okay.
But a friend of mine who is a podcaster, Dexter Pitts, who Army veteran, got blown up in a Humvee, got out, became a police officer, decided he wanted to be a Fed. Went to the Border Patrol for a year. Said, fuck this. I'm going back to Louisville. I'd rather work.
What year
in
was
the
this? When was this?
I'd have to go back and
Like
actually
10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago?
probably
ago?
10, probably 10-ish.
I mean, it's a
But it was a problem then.
it's a tough job. It's gotten worse because they're getting no support. from
But
the federal
he wanted
government.
nothing to do with the Border Patrol after a year. He said, you know what, fuck, I'll go back to
because of
Louisville.
how
I'd rather be a
chaotic it
Louisville
was,
police
because
officer.
of how dangerous it was,
A little bit
because
of
of
probably all the
all
above.
the above.
All of the above and no support.
Yeah, okay.
No support. So he's like, you know what, I'd rather work the beat.
I think the
in
first,
downtown Louisville.
I think the first
Of all places.
Yeah, right. Safer there.
He was
Or
like, I'm good here.
Send me to Chicago. I think the first answer is you finish the wall. You finish the border wall. There can be no argument about that. Where the wall is, the numbers of crossings are down. Where there's not a wall, they're sky high. So that's number one. And number two is you tear down this wall of shielding local law enforcement from contacting immigration naturalization services whenever someone is arrested or has a brush with government. What I don't want to see, let's be frank. What I do not, hi Frank. What I don't want to see is I do not want to see a Gestapo type. Notice the correct pronunciation, but I don't want to see that type of, remember that little kid in Miami that they busted in and deported back to Cuba with the it was his name Elian? I think it was Elian. Anyway, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see black, outfitted thugs in dark helmets and face shields breaking down doors, checking for papers. So it's a tough. It's going to be you raise a great point. What do we do? Well, we have to do something.
Elian Gonzalez.
Yeah, I was close. So I think the first thing you do is you definitely stop this division or this non-communication between ICE and local law enforcement. You insist upon it. You make it a federal law that if someone is arrested for any law breaking, even a traffic accident, you're shown to be here illegally, guess what? You're picked up by ICE. They come pick you up in a van, they take you and they hold you in a detention facility, and then you can have a hearing immediately right there and determine your immigration status. And if you're here illegally, instead of releasing you on a recognizance bond into the public that you have to show up in 30 days, which you're not,
which you never will.
Right, you're gone. You know what? You're on a bus back to Tijuana.
Well, and you remember when Abbott sent all of them on a bus to DC,
right?
Sent them to New York, and everybody was in an uproar. And he was like, "Well, I don't want them here. I mean, you're allowing them in the country. I'm just telling you, I don't want them here."
Why is it fair? Why is it fair to the people of Texas and Arizona and California that we say, "Oh, we have a border problem, but it's your problem," so we leave them there? I mean, what Abbott did, and to be totally frank, that's a fraction of the people that the federal government flew in the middle of the night to all sorts of cities, including New York. You're welcome. But that's a fraction. But they wanted to blast Abbott, but they gave the federal government a pass by having these people. Do you remember the pictures of the airports? And they're still going on today, where these people are taking photographs of whole concourses being taken over by migrants waiting to get on a flight to fly to the inner portions of the United States because they didn't like the optics of them sleeping under the overpasses down in Del Rio. So look, it's not our problem, but it is our problem. We'll figure out a solution. And I know one president is going to work on a solution and is going to solve the problem. And to be fair, it's not right that the countries of Venezuela and some other Central American countries, all they did, the way Cuba did during the Cuban boat crisis, was they opened their prisons and they let out the prisoners and they said, "You're going to America. Don't come back here." So this is why we have gangs. Be gone. So they're exporting their crime here to the United States. It's not fair to American citizens, and it's not fair that we tolerate this. And it's not a question of humanity. It's a question of right and wrong. And these people come here to break our laws. And as far as I'm concerned, as soon as they're, especially that poor video, they're caught breaking the law and they're still released again to go break the law again.
Yeah. When he said, "I had a double homicide," and I watched him walk out the door. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Maybe that's why your buddy decided he wasn't going to participate in Border Patrol, because he got tired of risking his life stopping people and then seeing them released anyway. He's like, screw this.
Yeah.
Possibly. I'm playing hypothetical situation here. But anyway.
So Josh, when you become senator,
yes.
What is
we didn't let's discuss that. What's the next step, Mr. Gerd?
I was going to run for school board.
I heard it's a lot of fun.
That'd be awesome.
Mr. Gerd.
So let me get your, I mean, we've talked and we're friends, but let me get just on camera and on microphone.
Oh, don't. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, fuck.
Oh boy.
How do I answer this one?
No, I mean,
Not that anyone will dig it up and use it.
because I mean, the people that listen and watch, they don't know who you are. I mean, what
Who doesn't know who I am?
what is your I mean, what's your take on the current presidential race and where do you stand?
Where do I stand?
Or what are you standing in?
Where do I stand?
Well, you're a Republican. You're a good member
well,
of
to
the
some, not a
Republican.
Republican enough.
I mean,
So,
just your opinions. I mean,
That's
just
always
because we're podcast wise, we get ammunition every day.
Yeah.
So it's easy fodder to be able to do an hour show, and we could probably make it a 3-hour show if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Of all of the bullshit that has gone on over the last
24 to 48 hours.
even that, but
Right.
I mean, but over the course of the last 6 months, with
Every day we get new material.
Kamala getting coronated, not nominated,
Right.
and all of this shit. So
it's amazing to me that again, after the last however many years, I mean, we have 350 million people. Well, however
Plus
however
20.
many people we don't know for sure, but all these people in this country, and we have Biden, Harris, and Trump as the front runners.
Well, let's be
This is
honest.
it.
I mean,
But I mean, why is that? Like, where is there's plenty of people who, I mean, you've had Brad Winstrop on here, like guys like that who,
gonna have him again here soon.
yeah, I mean, and obviously he is
getting out of
retiring.
politics. Yeah.
And my guess is for, several reasons, including the fact he wants to spend more time with his family. But where are the other people that want to run for office? I mean, I think that's a fair question.
So you have,
I mean, Trump is, I mean, he's,
Watch your mouth.
Trump is
I'm
Trump.
not-
No, you watch.
He
your
is.
mouth.
Trump is Trump.
Trump is Trump.
and Pappas is Trump. I mean, even when we were
Why you say that?
trustees,
I'm so much. I'm
But
a
you-
nicer.
I mean, you literally have it
Thinner.
across your
I've
shirt.
got better hair.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
I'll give you that.
No, I'll give you the hair.
So people say, well, Pappas, he's such a pain in the ass, whatever. Okay, fine. But
I
you
get
know,
stuff
you are
done.
genuine
I
and he
get stuff
does,
done.
you speak your mind, you're genuine, and you have been the same person that you've been since I've known you.
Since I came out of the womb.
That's not the case with Harris.
That's right.
That's not the case. And I could even say that about Trump, who has
No, he's
done
changed.
a 180
He's-
degree.
He
Yeah.
used to be a Democrat. I think you ask a good question. I think what you're asking is why do normal people not get involved in politics, or why does not everyday people not get involved in politics?
Or some of the people that were up to run, people put their vote behind Trump to actually nominate him for one at a convention. They nominated
Well,
him.
he did have the, I would say, advantage of being a
Former
past
president.
former
right.
president.
So he
So
was,
I understand
he was
that,
gonna
and
win the
also being
nomination.
shot,
Yeah.
also being shot at.
well, yeah, but he
That
was going
helps
to
too.
win the nomination. But I think
But you're asking why people aren't getting involved. I think Vivek was involved. I think he would do very well at some point. I mean, maybe now's not the point.
But I think Josh's question could be even brought down to a much more local level, because we have a real deficit of, for example, you mentioned school board, right? So it seems like every cycle we struggle to find.
Sorry, I giggled since he said sounds like Gert's announcing his 2028 presidential run.
count me in.
I'll help you.
But I mean, for example, we always struggle with people wanting to run for school board. We have trouble finding those people. So what, why are people shying away from politics in general? The time constraints it puts on your family. The sacrifices that you've made both professionally and personally to run for office and be in office. You like meetings, lots of meetings. You love
Meetings to
meetings.
plan
You
meetings.
love meetings.
But it's true. We have, people always think someone else is going to do it and they don't step up. And, we need normal, regular, and my opinion, fiscally conservative and conservative people to step up and say, you know what, I'll run for school board. And you know what, I don't care what you're going to say about me or my family or anything else. I'm going to do what I think is right. And we struggle with that. And right now we'll have, is it 2 or 3 spots next cycle coming up for school board? I think it's
3.
2. Is it 3?
I think it's 3.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so it's very, very difficult. And then you make that, you go on up the chain. It gets harder and harder. And the longer you're in it, the higher you go to rise to the point where someone would even consider you to be run for president of the United States. Plus, let's take the money dare I say the money situation. You've seen the money for congressional races, millions and millions of dollars it takes to run for these races.
Well, and Andrew, you and I have talked about. I mean, it starts small. Whether you're wanting to run, or whether you're just voting,
It starts small.
you have to make sure you vote at your local level, and then be educated in your votes all the way up through, Congress, Senate, the president. And I told Andrew, I have my young guys that are like, well, I mean. And they'll ask, who you voting for president? I'm like, well, who are you voting for your school board where you live?
What school board? They don't
Exactly.
They don't get involved.
So you have to get educated in all of the things. All right. So you've got different levies on the ballot, whether it's a public safety levy, school levy, whatever, or the renewals, knowing the difference between a renewal and an actual new levy.
Right.
Like that's the civics part of, like, I remember going through high school, you couldn't graduate till you had civics class. You learned how government worked.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that shit anymore.
Well, I don't know what look. If you're gonna, we could have a whole show on discussion of what goes on in schools, and I don't know what they're teaching the children in schools and college for that matter.
But just lack of knowledge,
right?
Coming out to being a
basic
adult.
understanding to be a member of society and kind of know what's going on
and what you're voting for,
right?
Instead of just listening to either Kiefer, Pappas, or Girth, hey, vote for this.
So
get educated on it. You may tell me to vote for something. I'm going to go research it before I actually.
No, you won't. You'll do exactly what I tell you to say.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will.
I'll do the opposite of what you say
you
now.
You are my puppet.
From here on,
hand puppet.
You like to think so.
You're not no strings.
You like to
talking the hand puppet.
You're adorable.
Let me ask you a question, Josh. So coming up on the ballot, there will be a public safety levy. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And you and I agree that the basic function of government is safety and security, and that's the cornerstone on which our society is, or at least our government is built on. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So this safety levy that's coming up, could you tell us a little bit, because some people won't understand, what was the life of the original levy, and how far did the trustees extend it?
So in townships, speaking of civics, we fund almost 100% of what we do is funded through property tax.
Said 100%. Take it right.
Correct, because we don't have income tax.
Correct.
Or sales
and we don't
tax.
have, and even like cities, other municipalities have fees that they can collect for different things, and
the hotels and stuff like that.
Right. So the last public safety levy was 8 years ago, 2016. Those levies projected to last about 5 years. We have stretched ours to basically 8 years.
Almost doubled it.
But it is the largest part of our budget. Right. So every dollar that someone pays in Anderson Township for property tax, about 15% of it goes to fund Anderson Township government, police, fire, roads, sidewalks, zoning, economic development.
So only 15. So what you're saying is only 15 cents of that dollar you pay in taxes goes for fire, police,
right?
Roads, sidewalks, infrastructure, that kind of stuff. The other, where's the other lion's share of money go? Probably.
Well, the lion's share goes to the school district, both Forest Hills and Great Oaks Joint Vocational School. Okay. They get a piece of that as well.
Okay, and then the little bitty things, a couple pennies here and a couple pennies there for like county parks and stuff.
County, like that. Park is certainly, Anderson Park District is part of that. Great parks, county parks, the zoo. Don't get me started on the zoo.
Well,
there's some things we should be paying for on our taxes and some things we should not, and that's.
I mean, that's a good discussion, but I think most rational people could agree that. So if I want to complain about my taxes and I say, those taxes are driving me crazy, and then I realize someone explains to me that, for every dollar, only 15 cents pays for me picking up the phone and knowing that within minutes, if I have, let's just say that I have a problem with either EMS or police, that someone will be at my door rather than sitting on hold, waiting while I stroke out, bleed out, or get robbed out. That's probably a very small percentage. I'm very impressed that it's that small. A phrase you're probably very familiar with.
By the way, if you do call, we're going to make sure it's like 8, 9, 10 minutes.
maybe 15. May have to stop at IHOP on the way to his house.
That was just a great line. But I just want everyone to realize that, I hear when people talk to me a lot of times, they say, oh, the taxes here and the taxes are so much more here than they are in wherever. And that's really factually not accurate.
Yeah, but our taxes are a problem. I mean, property taxes continue to go up. The values of our house continue to go up, which I guess you could argue is also a good thing. But yes, property taxes have gone up significantly.
And we've had some new levies.
Yeah, we have. And again, I mean, there are certain levies that I didn't agree with, but it costs a lot of money to run all these services, and property tax is how we are funded in the township. But if you do compare us to even the city of Cincinnati, their property taxes are very high. But compare us to Marymount, Terrace Park, any of these other places that are around us, I mean, I would say we're still relatively better than some of those.
And they have income
places.
Taxes in a lot of those municipalities
They
that
do.
we don't have here.
But we are still I'm very sensitive to the fact that, yes, everyone's property taxes have gone up, and it's tough. I mean, it's getting bad. But we don't have another option. We've looked at this 1,000 different ways over the last 2 years of what else can we do to not put levies on the ballot. So, for instance, 4 or 5 years ago, I went to the Ohio legislature and I said, we have these TIF funds, which that's a whole nother topic, but we've got money that's, the purpose of that is for more economic development, infrastructure, capital project kind of stuff. But this was during COVID, and we said, we're running out of money in our road and bridge fund, and we need access to this money. And thankfully, they granted us that access. So we had 2 years where we could use money from that fund to pay for the road, the maintenance and things around the township, which we have 140 miles of roads. We got a lot of roads.
Right.
And they granted us that right, which staved off our need to put out another levy for road and bridge. And we've been fortunate that I don't think we're going to need to do that anytime soon. But police and fire are a huge expense. The fire department is 60% of our budget. So it's a lot of money.
And being a fireman, I understand firemen pull money from the municipality.
Oh,
We cost.
nothing's free.
It's a
I mean,
service.
it's a service.
Police departments bring in revenue. EMS now brings with tickets and whatnot. I'm just saying they're revenue generating more so than a fire department is. A fire department does not charge. Andrew, let me finish. Hold on. Fire departments don't charge you if your house catches on fire. I don't charge
see
you.
where you're going with this. Okay,
I don't charge you to come.
You don't
put your
get a
fire.
bill. You don't get a bill when your house
Correct.
burns. That's correct.
EMS, you will,
Yeah, that's true. You or your
whether
insurance,
you're
right.
hard billed or soft billed.
Right.
But fire departments as a whole are a scourge on any municipality because it draws money. It's because it costs diesel fuel. Obviously, fucking payroll is probably 88%, 85 to 88%.
Yeah, sure.
So it's expensive, but you have to have it.
Sure, because when your house burns, you want to make sure someone shows up to put your
Or
house
you have
out.
a medical emergency, which is
Right.
most of what our runs are in Anderson. Town.
Exactly.
Because we have some big thoroughfares that go through Anderson. I would imagine.
Well, we have an aging population. We have people that
Watch
our
your mouth.
population is getting older in Anderson. We're not growing in population. People are choosing to stay in their homes longer.
Right.
And that has caused more runs for the township.
and some people age better than others.
And no matter where
Nobody at this table.
no matter where you're at, whether you're local here in Cincinnati, watching, listening, whatever, it's the same way across the country.
Yeah.
Fire departments and EMS departments cost money. Now, the township, our township, and most recoup some of that money through medical billing,
Right.
through insurance,
Right.
and whatnot. Police departments, and when I say that, I didn't mean it negative,
No.
but police departments will bring in money through fines and whatever. But I don't know how that gets divvied
I don't think
out.
we
It's-
get. I don't
it's
think
not-
we get it. And honestly, I don't think we. If they write a ticket for speeding, I don't think we see any of that.
I
That's
don't
that's
know.
Hamilton
That's-
County that deal, not our deal.
Well,
and the EMS billing.
but
is-
if you have like the Village of Marymount has their own police department.
oh yeah, no. If you have your own police department, it's a different deal.
I'm just saying I have to go broad because
Yeah,
we
because
have
we're
people
broad.
that aren't
Okay.
just here.
That's fine. That's fine.
So I just overall fire departments cost. But
Right.
guess what? Your house catches on fire, you want them there. You have a heart attack, you want them there.
Yeah.
So these public service levies that include, and a lot of them include police as well. Some do separate.
Ours does.
Those are ones that you have to vote for,
Right.
because
And what
even
is
though
the-
it's going to drive your home insurance, your house payment up, it's worth it. It's an insurance policy, is all it is.
Look, would you rather live? I'll ask you this: would you rather live in Cincinnati or Anderson Township if you have a health issue and you have to call 911 or the police department? Where would you rather be? It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And having seen recently what the city has done, that's one reason why I found out after the fact that
We have 8 minutes. We are hitting Kamala, by the way.
What?
We have 8 minutes left. We are hitting Kamala
Oh,
and
okay.
all of her.
So anyway,
Well, let's switch.
let's switch topics because let's just I just want
Because I could keep you guys here for 5 hours and have a great conversation.
Well, I just think it's a topic, since it's going to be on the ballot. We have Josh here. I thought it would be a good topic to bring up. We
No,
didn't
absolutely.
really plan on it, but I think people are interested to know. They read the insights, which is a little less attractive now that my photograph isn't in there. But I will say that we do a good job with the publication that's delivered to your house every month here in Anderson.
We have an exceptional public service division. Hamilton County Sheriff, all of our firefighters, great. And I would say it's better than average. And so you're paying for better than average.
Correct.
service.
That's right. You're paying for a Cadillac.
And unfortunately that costs money on your property tax.
Yep, and you gotta spend money to make money, quote unquote. But I'd rather have that than other places that I know of.
Okay, so what's next on our topic du jour?
Well, I mean, we found it amusing in the fact that
Oh, are we talking about accents? So we're going to go with
Yeah.
accents here. Yes.
we're gonna
So
hit that.
setting up this video, in case you haven't seen, apparently Kamala has
Camel toe.
has a propensity, as Hillary did, that if she's talking to a crowd, her accent seems to change by the hour. So you want to roll that tape?
Thank unions for sick leave. Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation time. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Jesus.
Oh, praise
Sweet
Jesus.
Jesus.
Praise Jesus. I'm in Detroit and I'm going to talk to you. But then if I'm in fucking Connecticut, I'm going to talk a different way.
It's just sickening. I
Fucking
mean,
clown.
that is just nothing but just so fake and phony. And say what you want. Listen, let's be fair.
I mean, I don't know. I have changed my accent a couple of times. Depending on the north or south side of Beachmont Avenue, I do change it.
The south side and the mean streets.
Main Street's a cold street.
I have this other.
Let's just get through the next 64 days. How about So, friends, 64 days until the most election of our lives.
Let's do it.
Let's just get through the next 64 days. How about So, friends, 64 days.
I mean, how
How condescending?
Grotesque.
Well, no, it's
grotesque.
condescending to the crowd. It's condescending to her voters. I guess Democrats overlook. I mean, I think 513 probably overlooks it because simple people tend to do that. But you sit there and you it's just so condescending that you think that they're so stupid in today's world of videotape and cameras and being able to play back things. It's just so disingenuous. Say what you want about Donald Trump. His personality, his attitude, everything else. You know what Donald Trump doesn't do? He doesn't do that.
he doesn't cowtail.
He has
to where he's
one
at.
voice and one attitude,
and you either like him or you
and
don't.
you either like him or hate him. But if he's talking in New York City or he's talking in, pick Podunk, wherever, he has the exact same voice, and he does not change based upon his crowd. And I find that we need more of that. We need more of that.
So I mean, just
Dat.
we're
We need more of that.
more dat.
More of that.
I don't know if you sent me this or I sent it to myself and I
Well,
sent
pretty
it to
much
you.
I send you everything.
No,
so go
you
ahead.
fuck off, clown. Hold on.
But now I got to
Idiot.
go into your email.
We have got to address that. Again, it's back to the inequities. America has a history of 200 years of slavery.
Mhm.
We had Jim Crow. We had legal segregation in America. The Voting Rights Act was only strong for 50 years, and then they wiped it out with this United States Supreme Court in the Shelby decision,
Mhm.
to the point that 22 states immediately thereafter put in place laws that one court found were crafted with surgical precision to have Black people not be able to vote. So we've got to recognize, back to that earlier point, people aren't starting out on the same base in terms of their ability to succeed. And so we have got to recognize that and give people a lift up. And there are a number of ways to do it. Part of my initiative, again, around the LIFT Act is that same point. You're lifting people up who are making less than $100,000 a year. What I want to do about rent is the same thing. What we need to do around education and understanding disparities, what we need to do around HBCUs. But we have a history of racism in America.
So you are for some type of
Yes, I am.
reparation. Okay.
Yes, I am.
That was reparations she was talking about.
Reparations.
That was reparations she was speaking about. So
I don't know if I have the Al Sharpton one, but yeah. So Al Sharpton's literally standing next to her and says, "If you become president, would you be willing to sign off on reparations for Africans or descendants of slaves?" And she goes, "When I get elected,
yeah, I'll sign that.
I'm signing that bill."
Well,
now I work with a lot of people of color, and they're like, "What the fuck is that? I don't want that. I don't need that. I don't care."
It's buying votes.
So it's exactly what it is.
You should pull up the Dave Chappelle skit about reparations.
Well,
Let's-
that'll definitely get us fucking blocked.
Get us blocked.
That'll
But
definitely
Dave
get us
Chappelle
blocked.
had a very good take
Yes,
on
he did.
the subject of reparations. So I listen, at some point, my personal feeling is at some point, although yes, no one will ever make the argument that slavery was a good thing or should and it should be taught, should never be overlooked. But to think that we're going to go back and refight what happened over 200 years ago here in this country, I think that, yes, we did have slavery in this country, but also no country's done more to stamp out slavery after the Civil War than the United States
Right.
of America. And I might like to remind people that slavery still goes on today. It's 2024, and slavery is still being practiced on the continent of Africa and it's terrible. And we don't talk about it. We pretend like it's not happening, but it is. So I think the stain of slavery will always be on the United States, but I don't think that reparations is where are you going to draw the line? I mean,
Right.
what do you, we saw, I mean, imagine the PPP money on steroids. I mean, we're getting reports now that, and I said at the time, because having participated in the PPP program in my businesses, I said, this is going to end badly, ripe with corruption, because I provided my bank with literally reams of documentation, and they looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, well, you require this information. She says, oh, you could just tell us what it was. You don't have to have the backup. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, we don't require documentation. You're just saying what your average payroll was. And I said, you got to be kidding me. She said, no,
absolutely.
And so,
I mean, I'm not shocked.
Well, what people did was, and this is documented, people set up fake corporations. People set up fake companies and turned in, reports that they had payroll of, $100,000 or whatever it was a month. And then they got a certain percentage. And then to be forgiven for that, you had to show documentation that you paid out. I want to say it was 85% of it went to your employees. And what the logic was is that the other 15% was to cover your rent and expenses. So it wasn't designed to be for the business owner a money-making proposition. And it was for your employees, not your payroll, not you,
right,
the employee, but your employees. So I abided by that. And yes, I got forgiveness for that. But I would tell anybody, because as Josh and I were discussing or brought up, that some of the local faceless nameless, cowardly trolls on social media that we don't mention their name made light of that. I could tell you, God is my witness, I didn't make any money on the PPP program.
Right.
I was basically all the PPP program did was turn businesses into welfare agencies for the federal government.
So I'm gonna shift gears. I'm gonna ask Josh a question. Andrew sent me a video. This is not embarrassing to you, I promise.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I promise.
Swear to God.
No. This is a serious question. It was all over the news.
Oh boy.
Do you have
Mr. Gurr
an Alexa device in your house?
I do.
Yeah.
Does that scare you at all?
No.
No.
Sure.
Should it?
Do you feel that, because I've heard other people, do you feel that like it listens and can, send? Are you worried about being on the grid? I guess is a better way to put it.
Do you wear tinfoil on your head at night? I guess
Right.
is the question he's
Right.
asking. Because I gave you the hat. So do
So-
you wear it at night?
I've seen it. Yeah.
I couldn't convert your video over to an MP4, but I'm going to play the audio.
They have apps that do that. They have websites
The
that
app
do that.
wasn't fucking working, Andrew. I know how to fucking do it.
working with.
God damn, it's like
you-
fucking
you-
being with my brother.
Seriously, you're terrible.
So
This
Going-
is so much fun, by the way.
Andrew sent me this video. Which
Are you doing this on your cell phone?
Yeah, it's just I'm playing the audio, but I got a video to go along with.
But, and let's set this up. So I saw this video. Actually, you should probably play the video online because the woman's much more attractive than I was.
Well,
But I didn't. Show
I want it
myself.
to be personal.
Well, it is personal. So I tested this in my house, and it kind of shocked me that it was actually true because a lot of videos you see on the internet are actually not true.
Doesn't work.
But this one actually works. So listen to this. Other than the phone stuff.
Why should I vote for Donald Trump?
What a voice.
I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate.
Liar.
Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
While there are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, the most significant may be that she is a female of color with a wealth of experience and a progressive agenda that includes initiatives like Medicare for All and the Green New Deal.
Now that's just one.
There you go, folks. You
Oh
think
my
this
God,
shit's
that's
fake.
crazy.
It's not. It's actually real.
That was 2
I
days ago.
I played that for my assistant chief.
Oh, you did?
That video. He
Yeah.
was like, "What the fuck?"
So that was 2 days. It was 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
So that was one of 4 answers. If you kept asking her, now you have to be a really lonely person that
It would change.
spends a lot of time on the internet in your basement. It probably has a Hillary sticker still on your car, but to talk to Alexa all day. But that was one of 4 answers they gave for Kamala Harris.
So-
And they were all glowing and positive. Like
So TikTok,
Oh my gosh. That's
TikTok,
crazy.
TikTok blew up all day before yesterday with people doing that.
Right.
So he sent it to me. I hadn't seen it yet, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "What?" Well, then you get on social media and you see that was the big rage, right? So here's just a random, but I wanted to do Andrew.
to make it personal,
Yeah.
bringing it home.
So Alexa says that she can't promote a political party. Listen to this. Alexa, why should I vote for Donald Trump?
I cannot promote any political views or any party. Every individual has the freedom to choose whom they want to vote.
Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
Vote for Kamala Harris if you want a candidate who is passionate about social justice, has a strong track record of fighting for working families, and will work to improve the lives of all Americans. Harris is a bold leader with a proven record of achievement, and she is ready to take on the challenges facing the country.
But she can't give political advice about Donald Trump. That's crazy.
So someone just brought up to me, and I think it's a great point that a budding hungry attorney should make is that being reported as an in-kind donation from Amazon to the Harris campaign? Because it is.
Well, and
Now it's been fixed.
yeah, when Amazon was questioned, they said, "Oh, it was a glitch." Now,
Yeah, it was a glitch.
if it's a glitch, it just means it was found.
correct.
Because how long was that happening before somebody decided to make a video and then it went
I was
viral.
going to say, I'm surprised it took that long to figure out that was happening.
And how
A
many
fucking joke.
other instances of there of that out there? Remember that there was a search that was also of Donald Trump being shot that was suppressed as well. If you remember, not too long ago, the results would come back, said it was misinformation. If I'm not mistaken, said it didn't happen. So, look, I guess the thing to take from this is be very, 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 very pessimistic about what you see on the internet and what you might hear, even on TV for that matter.
You're kidding.
No, you shut your mouth.
You shut your mouth.
You put your tinfoil hat on. But I mean, seriously, how many people
Do
are
you think
gonna
people
sit-
are asking Alexa who they really should vote for? and
Well, I'm
waiting
sure right
on the
now they're
answer?
asking Alexa about you.
Well, and that's something Cincy 513 just said.
We need to
Here's a real question. Why are you asking a device on your counter who you should vote for? Somebody did,
Not really
though.
that's
the
not
thing.
the point. Since I mean, it's not actually. Thank you for missing the point
but
yet
of course,
again.
But of course, it's biased. But it's Amazon and it's Facebook and it's all these
I
companies.
get
They
it,
can
I
do whatever they
understand,
want.
but they're
I don't know
protected.
why it's.
Why
No
well,
one should be
it's-
surprised by it. is basically what I'm
It's
saying.
not necessarily surprised. It's a question of why do we continue to shield these corporations like Amazon or definitely Facebook and whatnot from being liable.
How
for
many
shit they
times are
post.
you on Facebook a day?
I am off of Facebook.
Uh-huh.
I am. I haven't been on. What time is it?
Yeah, I was going to say about an hour. And
I mean,
know,
we
it's-
slam Facebook as we're sitting here on Facebook.
How many followers?
Yeah, we're on
We're on
YouTube.
YouTube. Get it right.
But still, it's Google.
But
It's still Google.
How many followers you have now?
Do I have more than you?
No.
Are you
But,
sure?
Yeah. So how many you got?
Are yours real?
Are yours real?
Well, I'm asking.
Did we ever tell the story about that?
Oh no.
No. Well, it's
I don't
just
think
a
we have time.
competition.
Is this over yet? I
It's
feel.
not
How
over.
long have we been sitting here?
It's
3 days.
It's almost over.
That's what.
It's almost over.
That's what she said.
I'm gonna do an ad read, and then it'll be over. How's that? How's that sound? Do you have anything else, Andrew? Before
No,
I do this ad read?
we had a lot of stuff to cover today, but Josh chewed up a lot of our time. But I think that
I appreciate you
God.
being here.
I
Josh.
think. Listen, I think it's important that we have local candidates and local representation on because this show does go all over the place through the power of the internet. But at the end of the day, a lot of folks that know us watch, and they're local people, and
We
I
do have a lot
appreciate
of
you coming on. I know you're a very busy guy, and I've been very kind to you. I haven't asked you any hard-hitting questions.
Next
said-
time I'll bring my Trump cup and use that instead of this.
But
You want to use that one?
I just, oh yeah, he does,
Oh.
just not on air.
What's wrong with you?
Makes you wonder what really happened to the Turpin mascot. But at the end of the day, look, we appreciate you being on here, and we don't want people forget. Unless you've been in public office and you've suffered the slings and arrows from people that are cowards and come at you anonymously and say a lot of really crappy things and don't have the guts to face you mano a mano or at least use their name, I appreciate you coming on here because someone's going to, you and I both know that someone's going to take something you may have chuckled about or said here completely out of
Or
context.
didn't say.
Or didn't say.
Or didn't say that.
And
Go
I
Trump.
Even better.
Go
that's right.
Trump.
That's right. So I really appreciate you coming on here and being with us today and maybe driving our ratings down, but hopefully not. So thank you.
Your face is doing that.
No, not really, because ask Jason, viewership has gone up. More flies with honey, baby.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. So I had the pleasure of hanging out with our buddy Dan Varda this morning, helping him get a stage moved over to a site that we all know for a fundraiser this weekend. And our sponsor, Dan Varner, who's been charter since we've started and has been a huge help. We're going to do the Varner Netherton Revival. The boys are back together again and making the best music of their lives. Cincinnati's own Dan Varner has rejoined with longtime friends Nick, Brad, and Rye. And now they're the Varner Netherton Revival. It's filling clubs and arenas from Queen City to Nashville and every place in between. Varner Netherton Revival is more than award-winning musicians and recording artists. They're just plain fun. Their vocal harmonies has crowds of 10, which I think is funny. He wrote this, by the way. 10 to 10,000 standing up, singing along. And the best part is you can book them for your event. Check a show out near you and find out more at varnernetherton.com. That's varnernetherton.com. Dan is awesome. He's treated us very, very well.
Good man.
And I was glad to help him today. But looking forward to a fun fundraiser listening to them this Saturday. So, Josh, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you, my man. Hopefully you'll come back. Hopefully Pappas didn't scare you off. But Pappas, you have any other sign-off words? You got
No. I'm being contacted. We might have some other local officials on here in the near future.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, and maybe this is a trend that will continue
in the close confines. But
maybe we could get some school board members on here. Discuss,
Well, we're getting Cincy 513 in here. That's happening.
You got to do that.
That's happening.
It's fine. I don't have any problem. I'll be good. You might want to sedate me. Give me some Prozac or something.
I'll bring ketamine. It's fine.
That's what I've heard.
Hey guys, I'll let you know. Andrew and I got to figure out when our next show is, but we'll get with you. We're thinking about a debate watch party.
Yeah,
hopefully.
The just for everyone's knowledge, if you don't know, that the debate, which was on again, then off again, then back on again, and might be off again, but should be on again, is on Tuesday at 9 p.m. And the Sons of the Legion are having, which these two gentlemen are members of, is having a watch party, and they had one. The last debate was a lot of fun. And they've invited the East Side Republican Club to kind of join them. And Jason and I were considering having a remote show with live commentary during that debate.
Absolutely.
So that's at the Patriot Center on Clough Pike. And if you have the time, and it is open to the public, but there will be a cash bar, and they have some snacks and food there. And, we had a good time last time. As a matter of fact, I did a Facebook Live thing that went viral.
Sweet.
But then I got a shot and got fixed.
Hopefully we can get one. Well, we probably won't be able to get one in between now and then.
Virus. No, probably not. So the next one probably be Tuesday, and then we might do Thursday next week or something like that. Oh, wait, I can't do Thursday. That's my spinning class. So
your spinning class. Everybody, hey, we appreciate you guys watching, listening, and whatever.
But spinning, all right.
I got the spandex pants and everything.
He's definitely spinning.
What's your email address, Josh? If they want to send some fan mail.
Email out.
It's Pappy at Fuse.
God damn it! I hate when you do that. Stop doing that.
Everybody, here's a fun outro.